will take you to the front lines.
And we'll take you to Operation Homefront, where the families of soldiers are waiting for word.
We'll have these stories and much more, all next on Channel 7 News at 6.
Hot Wheels. There's more of them here than anywhere. Hot Wheels. They're in every used car lot you visit. Hot Wheels. They're used for profit to rip off insurance companies. Hot Wheels. Stolen cars are big business in South Florida. And Channel 7 undercover reporter John Steinberg is going to tell you why you're paying the high price of Hot Wheels. Starting Monday on Channel 7 News at 10.
Is there something wrong? I mean, you have this strange look on your face. What do I need to do? Brush more? Get another toothpaste? What?
Tartar Control Crest helps stop tartar where it starts. It penetrates plaque before it hardens for easier cleanings, and more dentists recommend it.
You're smiling. Does that mean less tartar?
Tartar Control Crest. The dentist's choice is the easy choice.
Well, aren't you going to congratulate me?
The biggest and best art festival of its kind comes home to the museum and Bouvier Park in Fort Lauderdale. The Las Olas Art Festival, March 9th and 10th.
This is a special edition of Channel 7 News. America at War.
A long, long line of Iraqi soldiers leading away from their positions in Kuwait. Tonight, thousands of them are prisoners of war. Although, again, the large number of Iraqi prisoners is being contrasted by an extremely low number of American casualties.
And tonight we are seeing some dramatic pictures already in from the front line. The new ground war is being termed such a success that commanders are reportedly preparing to step up the attack. American soldiers inside southern Iraq are celebrating victory tonight. These new pictures are from pool cameras. They show the Army's 18th Artillery Troops, a unit that fired howitzers at Iraqi strongholds.
In church this morning, President Bush prayed for peace, while outside, a handful of protesters were being arrested.
We'll go to that report in just a moment. It was an attack carried out with incredible speed. Allied troops taking over Iraqi bunkers, capturing thousands of prisoners. You've seen those pictures. And Allied casualties appear to be light. CNN reports 11 American soldiers are among the dead.
Well, as you've seen early on in this war, we are getting all sorts of pictures right from the front lines. In a moment, we are going to take you out to the battlefront, in fact. But our Team 7 coverage begins now with a look at how this ground war and how long it might last. Channel 7 senior reporter Mark Ludner is on Capitol Hill right now. He has more. Mark?
It is still called Operation Desert Storm, but the first few hours of the ground war might well be renamed Operation Desert Rout. Pentagon sources say that the word from the Allied command now is double time. The invasion schedule is being accelerated. Now, just to be cautious, Iraq's top troops have not yet been engaged. There still could be some Allied setbacks ahead. But for now, this is definitely a one-sided campaign. The war is over for this Iraqi. He's among more than 5,000 Iraqis reportedly taken prisoner in day one of a high-speed, high-tech Allied surge into Kuwait and Iraq. The general they call Stormin' Norman says the ground campaign so far has taken very few American lives.
Friendly casualties have been extremely light. As a matter of fact, remarkably light. So far, the offensive is progressing with dramatic success. The troops are doing a great job. 10 hours into this ground offensive, more than 5,500 prisoners have been captured. And we received reports of many hundreds more north of our positions with white surrender flags.
It's only the first day, and I don't want to make a hard and fast forecast about casualty levels.
Here in Washington, Defense Secretary Cheney wouldn't predict casualty levels or the length of the war, warning against excessive optimism based on the first reports of dazzling Allied success.
And I think that euphoria control is appropriate.
Senator Bob Graham says even if there are tougher days ahead, Americans still will support the war. And Florida's other senator agrees.
There is a sense of commitment that's much deeper and much broader than I think most people understood. There is a strong commitment, and we're going to stick with it until this is over.
How soon will it be over there? Well, here and there in Washington, you hear people saying that it could be only 3 or 4 days. Now, a lot of people are not willing to risk such a rosy prediction. Obviously, the man who occupies the White House is very encouraged by the early war news. Channel 7's Tom Cole has been at the White House today monitoring President Bush's activities. Tom.
Mark, President Bush remains upbeat about the news from the Gulf. He continues to get status reports from his senior administration officials, and those reports continue to be positive. There's almost a sense of relief here at the White House, relief that the tension which has built up over the past few weeks while we've waited for this ground war to begin has finally been lifted. Relief that, so far, as we've heard, Allied casualties have been light.
In church this morning, President Bush prayed for peace, while outside, a handful of protesters were being arrested. In Baghdad, Saddam Hussein was back on the radio, exhorting his troops and the Iraqi people to fight.
Fight them, Iraqis. Oh, Iraqis, fight them. With all the power you have, fight them, brave Iraqis.
Yet it is clear from these pictures that the fighting is far away from Baghdad. As the armor continued to move and the Allies pressed on toward Kuwait City, it was clear that the atrocities against the Kuwaiti people was one more incentive for moving without delay.
We are still getting continuing reports of atrocities in Kuwait City, the damage to buildings, blowing up the parliamentary building, and the other atrocities that I mentioned earlier today. They are continuing, and I think that does illustrate very clearly that we were right to take this action now and not to delay any longer.
He has now set fire to over half of the oil wells in Kuwait. And we have indications that he is virtually practicing genocide in Kuwait City. Another ecological disaster he's perpetrated. We've waited long enough.
But there was some criticism today from Soviet officials who believe a real chance for peace has been missed. Here at the White House, senior officials have thrown some criticism at the Soviets of their own, saying that President Gorbachev had other objectives in his negotiations with Iraq. Still, this spat between the superpowers is not expected to harm superpower relations in the future. But, Rick, they're all saying the sooner the fighting ends, the better.
Yeah, I think we all agree with that. Thanks, Tom. That's Channel 7's Tom Cole at the White House and senior reporter Mark Ludner on Capitol Hill. Jane?
And as we mentioned, the military says that the ground war is going so well, it may speed up the movement of the invading forces. Even with all their successes, the troops are facing some obstacles. Our Team 7 coverage continues now with CNN's Charles Jaco, who gives us a glimpse of what the soldiers are up against.
The 2nd Marine Division's push into Kuwait began before the sun came up. By the time it was daylight, shortly after 6, the Marines were inside Iraqi-occupied Kuwait. As the convoy ground through the desert, rain started to fall. There was concern about Iraqi chemical weapons.
Possible chemical agents.
But generally, the Leathernecks sped into Kuwait without meeting any Iraqi resistance. As they drove along, smoke and fires from the hundreds of oil fields set alight by Iraqi troops came into view. Occasionally, the Marines traded fire with scattered Iraqi positions. Marine engineers threw out explosive line charges to detonate mines. In the distance, the Marines in the convoy could see Iraqi soldiers by the dozens surrendering. But it wasn't all smooth going. The convoy ground to a halt after one of the Marine Humvees hit a mine. The concussion knocked one Marine out for a second. The convoy slowly began rolling again, passing by abandoned Iraqi anti-aircraft emplacements and armored vehicles scorched by the relentless air war. Then a scene that amazed even the Marines, lines of hundreds of Iraqi soldiers surrendering.
Are we bad? Are we bad?
The Iraqi POWs marched with their hands up, trudging past burning oil fields and abandoned defensive positions. Allied commanders, though, are warning against premature optimism for 2 basic reasons. One, they point out Iraq's elite Republican Guard units, for the most part, have not entered the battle yet, and they say the worst may be yet to come in what could be house-to-house fighting in Kuwait City. Charles Jaco, CNN, Saudi Arabia.
Well, this ground war may be moving at a full force, but that doesn't mean that the air war is slowing down any. Hundreds of Allied planes are continuing to fly in and out of Saudi air bases regularly, and they're running the same bombing missions over Iraq and Kuwait that they had been running. One pilot, in fact, couldn't believe what he saw while flying over Kuwait.
Looks like what I envisioned hell would look like. I hope I never have the opportunity to see firsthand, but the country of Kuwait is burning.
Now, these planes, of course, move in and out of enemy territory pretty fast, but the pilots themselves are commenting on the speed of the ground troops. One pilot said that he flew all the way into his bombing target, only to find that the infantry got there ahead of him. And the big guns of the battleship Missouri and the battleship Wisconsin hurling one-ton shells toward Iraqi targets. The ships add some tremendous power to the Allied ground offensive. The Missouri, firing its 16-inch guns towards Kuwait City, hit a series of Iraqi bunkers and artillery and anti-aircraft batteries. The sailors aboard both of those ships, though, are prepared for the worst just in case Iraq starts firing back. All the sailors now are wearing special clothing to protect them against any type of chemical weapon.
Tonight, the ground war is not changing Saddam Hussein's song. He is predicting his troops will come out on top. Hussein gave a radio address this morning, but as he spoke, Allied bombing raids continued. Not unexpectedly, the Iraqi leader is telling a very different version of what's been happening in the war. Hussein says the Allied ground offensive has failed miserably and that the Iraqi military is in complete control. He is urging his people and his military to resist the Allies by any means possible. The bombardment from the air and the ground has not knocked out Saddam Hussein's ability to launch Scud missiles. Two U.S.-made Patriot missiles intercepted 3 Scuds today in the skies over Saudi Arabia. And there they are. Witnesses say they could see debris falling to the ground, but did not see any explosions. There were no injuries, but in one case, an abandoned school was badly damaged.
Still ahead with this ground war now in the Gulf, how are the soldiers' families handling it back at home? We'll go live to Operation Homefront coming up next.
And we're going to have more on the ground war as the troops continue to pour through Kuwait. Stay with us.
Channel 7 News brought to you in part by Acura Automobiles. Experience precision-crafted performance.
When it was introduced in 1986, it became a legend in its own time. Now, for 1991, there's a totally new Acura legend. It's faster than a BMW 735, bigger than a Mercedes 300, about $10,000 less than a Lexus. It's the only import with a passenger side airbag. And with a new 200 horsepower engine, it's become a legend in even better time.
Nobody beats Home Depot. Nobody. Home Depot will beat any price, any store, any identical item, any day. And low prices are just the beginning. Home Depot features Morgan solid wood entry doors in a wide variety of styles. We also carry Weiser deadbolts and lock sets to keep your home safe and secure.
When you're with us at Home Depot, you feel right at home.
Of all pine cleaners, more people choose Pine Sol. Pine Sol's got more active ingredients than the next leading brand. And Pine Sol disinfects better. It even kills staph germs. It's not really clean until
it's Pine Solved.
While the ground war wages on in Kuwait, soldiers' loved ones are back home, watching, waiting, and of course praying. Our Team 7 coverage continues now with Channel 7's Glenna Milberg, who joins us live from Operation Homefront in Cutler Ridge. Glenna?
Well, Jane, the crying is over, at least for now, and the families of those whose loved ones are fighting on the war front are getting down to the most important business of the home front, that is, supporting each other.
Is there more? This is it. People trickled in slowly to Operation Homefront after an emotionally draining night. The news is on constantly here, though with the understanding that little will be revealed in the first few days.
With the air war, they were telling us how many sorties were flown, what sites they blew up, whatever. With this one, with the ground war, we're just kept in the dark. It's the same thing over and over on TV, and I think that's the tensest part, the hardest part to cope with.
Helping each other cope is the purpose of Operation Homefront. With the ground war underway, this small Cutleridge office will be open 24 hours a day, stocked with food, drink, phone lines, and families ready to catch each other in the toughest moments.
And we understand similar scenes are going on at Fort Lauderdale's Operation Homefront and at a military counseling center in Miami Lakes. We also understand Senator Bob Graham called several families from here this morning to offer his own personal help and support. Jane, back to you.
And Glenna, we also understand that Operation Homefront is going to stay open many hours, 24 hours around the clock?
That is correct. The plan here is to stay open 24 hours a day while the ground war is being fought, staffed by all volunteers, phone lines open 24 hours, someone here to talk to every minute of the day for anyone who needs help.
All right. Thank you very much. Glenna Milberg reporting live from Cutler Ridge. Rick.
In other news tonight, an enormous fire at a high-rise in Philadelphia has killed 3 firefighters. At least 11 others are injured. Now, this 12-alarm blaze broke out at about 8 o'clock last night, quickly spread through the 38-story building. It burned out of control, and by about early this morning anyway, at least 8 other floors of that building have been completely gutted by the flames. The high-rise is just across the street from Philadelphia's City Hall, and investigators say they still don't know what water's show of support for the troops.
And up next, Steve Adams with our weather. Here's a look at the temperatures outside right now.
Well, most people, I think, have an image of what healthy food tastes like, and they think it's going to take all kinds of willpower to stick with it. I don't want to feel that I'm giving up anything, quite frankly.
Delicious, healthy choice entrees are made with lean meats, light sauces, over 20 taste-tempting varieties to help you keep your heart healthy.
And that's why I like this. That's why I like Healthy Choice.
And your family will love new Healthy Choice meals in cans and microwave cups. Make the healthy choice.
Excuse me, Professor, have you heard of Fantasy First?
If you want to continue to enjoy the incredible South Florida environment, help us to preserve it. On Saturday, March 2nd, we'll be working to make our waterways clean. If you want to help, pick up your volunteer detail sheet at one of McDonald's Broward locations or call 1-800-BOAT-001. Brought to you by Waxy FM, Blockbuster Cruises, McDonald's, and of course the Marine Industries of South Florida and WSVN 7.
Did you ever notice that most truck sales seem like a really big deal until you get up close? But Isuzu looks great from any angle. Like now during Isuzu's really big sale. You could actually save up to $2,000 on a versatile Trooper or up to $1,500 on one of these rugged pickups, thanks to factory to dealer incentives. So come in now for some really big savings.
You could save up to $2,000 during Isuzu's really big sale.
I told you we were serious.
The liberation of Kuwait could happen on or near that country's actual Independence Day, their 4th of July, if you will. February 25th, tomorrow, is the National Day of Kuwait. Kuwaiti students here in Miami say that they are hoping to have a double reason to celebrate tomorrow. The students want to show Americans all across this country what their country was like just before the invasion and then after the invasion and before they began producing oil over there. The exhibit was pushed back until Tuesday, though, because the Student Union building won't be available tomorrow.
Steve Adams joining us now with what looks to be a rather gray day out there.
Yeah, kind of sprinkly, showery out there. Let's check the radar real quick and see what's going on. Still some scattered showers left around, so watch out if you're driving around right now. There are a few puddles still out there and a couple of spots where your windshield's going to get blurry. And taking a look at the satellite loop, we see that we do have some showers out there, and these showers are moving to the northeast along this trough, and behind that is a larger system of showers, which will get into the Panhandle and then into Florida later. But this particular system here is going to be drying out over the next 24 hours or so that won't be much of a problem for us any longer. You can see, though, there's a large system of moisture here. It's a combination of rain and snow in the eastern sections, the Carolinas, Virginias, all down through here, scattered showers and rain. Then it becomes snow back into the area around Oklahoma, up into Missouri, all the way to Michigan, and then another system coming in behind that across the Rockies, down into the Dakotas, Nebraska, all the way down into Colorado. This particular band of showers here, though, will probably stay well to the north of us. Don't see a whole lot of showers coming our way by later into the week. So it looks like your work week is going to start off pretty nice. Cold weather, though, will be dipping down the east coast and cutting back into Texas, and teens in 20s, zeros, and minus 10s all the way up into the northern plains states across Minnesota, Wisconsin, as winter continues to hold sway in that area. The forecast for us looks pretty good, though. Evening showers clearing, becoming partly cloudy. Some late night fog, though, will be a problem for you. 62 to 65 degrees, our lows tonight. Then for tomorrow, again, partly cloudy skies. We'll have fewer showers. The winds will be out of the southeast as that high-pressure ridge gets on over to the east side of our peninsula. High 82 to 85 degrees. And then for the boaters on Dayton Broward coastal waterways, winds southwest and west 5 to 10, seas 2 feet or less. Bay waters will be smooth. And for the almanac, we have a low tide at 10:48 this evening. Next high tide 5:15 in the morning. Sunrise 6:48 and the sunset at 6:20. Yeah, those winds out of the west make the waters real smooth for the boaters. But it's Monday. Got to go back to work.
Looks like a yucky Monday.
There's going to be improving.
All right.
Start off a little bit yucky with some fog tonight, improving quickly, though.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay.
Rick.
Still ahead, we will, of course, have more on the Gulf War. And in sports, an interstate rivalry on the baseball diamond. Jay Heiler's next. Still have sports.
In Florida, there's always been one car that ruled the roadways. A car that made people sit up and take notice. It was true back then, it's true today. Because for 1991, Cadillac raises the standards once again. Cadillac, once and for always, king of the road.
Only a touch this soft can be grandma. And only a bath tissue this soft can be called Kleenex. New Kleenex Premium Bathroom Tissue is specially layered with facial tissue softness on both sides, so all that touches you is softness. Only a smile this soft can be a sister. And only a premium bath tissue this soft can be called Kleenex.
Unlike big juice companies, we have a different idea about corporate ladders, mergers, even stockholders' meetings.
Morning, Ed. Hi, Bob.
Fresh and natural brand, not from concentrate orange juice, is made by a co-op of Florida growers whose only business is making juices. They own the land, they own the trees, they own the company. It makes for a difference you can taste. Fresh and natural brand premium orange juice.
Ole, ole! Toyota dealers have turned up the heat, heating up their hottest sales event ever. Now with red hot 8.9% financing on Camry. 8.9% financing, plus Camry's legendary dependability. Now save up to $900 on extra value packages, and big factory-to-dealer incentives could save you hundreds more. Plus easy discounted financing on the best-selling Toyota of all. Camry, Toyota, more for your money. It's hot, hot, hot. Toyota.
Jay Heiler joins us now with sports. If you have a color set at home, this is probably the time to adjust the hue.
No, come on, folks. I'll tell you, I walked into the studio. Everyone has razzed me about my tie. I kind of like it. Marion, the floor director, likes it. Jane likes it.
Well, then it must be good.
You don't like it, Rick. Yes, let's talk some baseball, though. Miami baseball team has had some rough times up in Gainesville, but this weekend, the Gators were in a giving spirit. Ron Frazier and the Canes going after the sweep. Top of the first, George Fabregas takes one the other way, and bingo, off the foul pole for a 2-run homer. Canes led it 7-4 in the 8th when Brett Killen clubs this 3-run shot to left off Steve Day. Brand new game tied 7-7. But in the top of the 9th, Greg Coleman's bouncer gets booted. Gino DiMari came all the way around from second and slid in with the game winner as the Canes get the sweep 8-7. Well, the Heat will be looking for some deja vu tonight at the arena. The last time they played the Knicks in Miami, the Heat were 21-point winners. ZZ Top showed up for the Lakers and Pistons. And when you know, Bob Costas always has to get in on the fun. Forget about Isaiah. Look at Vinnie Johnson, the wraparound to Dennis Rodman. Detroit by 7 at halftime. Then the microwave does it on his own, a little twisting layup along the baseline. But LA had their secret weapon. Magic's mom cooked some food. In overtime, Vlade Divac will set up AC Green as the Lakers survive 102-96. Larry Bird was back home in Indiana. Celtics and Pacers. Chuck Person will nail this 3 while fading into the seats. He had 28. Celtics down by 9, but they rallied to lead by 15 after 3. Robert Parrish will finish off this break, but Don't worry, Bob Hill. Reggie Miller cans this three-pointer from somewhere near Bloomington as the Pacers knock off the Celtics 115-109. College basketball today, Indiana was a winner over Michigan. Syracuse beat Pitt. And right now, Duke and Arizona are getting ready to start overtime. Get ready, South Florida. The PGA Tour makes its invasion next week for Doral. But first, there was some business to take care of out on the left coast. Final round of the Los Angeles Open from the hilltops. We take you to the shot of the day. Davis Love III on the par 3 14th. And watch this ball stop on a dime. He almost holes out for an ace. Ted Schultz had a one-shot lead at 18, but needed to get this putt close to save par. He showed some nerves rolling it up, and it comes to a stop within gimme range. Jeff Sluman, he had a chance to tie for the lead at 18, but this birdie just slides by. Ted Schultz wins the LA Open and $180,000 to Sarasota for the Seniors Chrysler Cup single matches today. Gary Player will drain this birdie on his way to beating Jim Dent, but the U.S. won 5 of 8 matches. Chichi Rodriguez with El Drano, and then it's time for El Toro. Chichi's antics were contagious. His opponent, Simon Hobday, makes a birdie, and there he goes. Unfortunately, it's a little easier with a shorter putter. U.S. team came home the winners. Finally, Macho Camacho might not be the boxer he once was, but the guy is always good for an entertaining entrance into the ring. Last night in Vegas, Macho in full battle fatigues for his bout with Greg Haugen. Third round, Macho lands a right that lands Haugen on the canvas. Looked like it would be Macho time. But at the start of the 12th round, instead of touching gloves, yeah, look at Macho, a couple of cheap shots. That's a no-no. The referee took away a point, and it ended up costing Macho the fight. He lost a split decision, his first loss in 39 fights. And speaking of Macho, guys, I think you should get a tie like this.
Yeah.
You look good.
In your dreams.
Yeah.
He's just jealous.
He is a little bit, isn't he, Jane?
Yeah, he
Thank
is.
you for pointing that out.
We'll be right back.
Larry Zonka, 3 straight Super Bowls. After that, he went to sea. Sports personalities, as well as our own team of sports instructors, help host Norwegian Cruise Line cruises. No other cruise line has such an all-star lineup. The pleasure ships of Norwegian Cruise Line. The best vacation you've ever had.
Everything to make you feel good inside. It handles with precision, accelerates with authority, and stops with assurance. But then, who wants to stop? The new scoop from Hyundai. Yes, Hyundai.
There are times when a little nose needs a lot of comforting. When only your loving touch and the very softest tissue can make everything better. You wouldn't trust moments like these to just any tissue. When it comes to comforting, you and Puffs have the touch.
And finally tonight, some deep support for American troops fighting in the Gulf War, deep as in the deep blue sea. Divers from the Broward Association of Safe Diving suited up this morning and headed for the ocean floor. There, they tied yellow ribbons and American flags to a reef to show support for our troops. The task took about 20 minutes. The group says it's an unusual but patriotic way to show its support.
And that brings to a close Channel 7 News at 6. CNN Headline News is next. They'll have more on the Gulf War. I'm Rick Chambers.
I'm Jane Acree. Join us for a special 60-minute version of Channel 7 News tonight at 10.
For all of us here at Channel 7, have a great evening. Good night.